Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Today we're going to do a demonstration about operating system hardening project, and we are from Group 6 that consists of 4 team members, which is me myself, Amirul Haris bin Amruddin, followed by Muhammad Rizwan bin Muhammad Nizam, Nur Dahiyah bin Faizal, and Arshada Fahana bin Abdullah. So for this demonstration, we decided to demonstrate with 3 person only, which is Amirul Haris, Muhammad Rizwan, and Arshada Fahana, because Nadahiyah bin Faizal is already covered for task 1 and the report itself. So for the first one, we're going to moving on to the scanning part, which is will be demonstrated by Muhammad Rizwan, but will be explained by Ashraf Hana, followed by me, Amil Haris bin Amiruddin for OS hardening, and Muhammad Rizwan for post hardening. So the scanning tools that we use for scanning are Linus, Nmap, and CHK Rootkit. So due to the scanning using those tools, we identify 5 vulnerabilities in the Linux operating system, which is unpatched software packages, open unused ports, weak SSH configuration, misconfigured UFW, and unnecessary running services. And for the tools that we use to harden the operating system, Linux, Audit D, and those two are tools for hardening, and number 3 and 4 is the techniques that we are used to harden the system, which are regular system updates and enable firewalls. So to begin with, I will hand over to Ashrafana to explain detail about the system scanning.
Okay, so for the first vulnerabilities, which is unpatched software packages, we use sudo apt update as our first command. And this update is to update the list that available packages from the repositories in the local host. And this is the output of the update. Next, we have to install the Linux, and the command we use is sudo apt install Linux. And this command is actually to support the system um, to comprehensive security audit of a Linux system. Next is sudo Linux audit system. From this command, we can configure and we can detect the vulnerabilities, and also this command is actually give us the suggestion of the vulnerabilities. And there is a lot of the output because Linux actually checked for the vulnerabilities, means configuration, and the potential weakness in the system security. Next, we have to install the depth scan, which is sudo apt install depth scan, because we have to analyze the list of list of installed packages that current host and report vulnerabilities found on the system. Next, for the open and unused port, we use Nmap as our scanning tool, and let's install the Nmap first. And this command, which is nmap scanme.nmap.rg, is actually give us which one uh, have the open ports, and also okay, so there is the four services, and the four services state that there is four open ports there in this local host. And other than nmap scan me the nmap.org, we also use sudo nmap.ss.pn localhost. And this one is actually to provide the elevated privileges for sending network packets. Next, for our third vulnerabilities, which is weak SSH configuration, we use this command is actually for to identify the active encryption algorithms on the server. And there is the output, which is state closed, and the service version is SSH. The fourth one is misconfigured UFW. Okay, so the firewall is active. Next command is sudo UFW status verbose. And this command is actually to see the rules that are set in this Ubuntu. And actually, the default output, which is deny incoming, allow outgoing, disable routed, is um the proof of the proof is when outgoing allow means allow all outgoing connection from this machine, and incoming deny is block all the incoming connection unless explicit allow. This command is security assessment because these running services mean potential attack surface, and this command also can manage and inspect system services and units in Ubuntu. So there is the output is show is the unnecessary running services in this Ubuntu. Okay, I think that's all from me for the scanning part. So I will pass to Muhammad Rizwan for the hardening part.
Alright, so for the hardening part, we will go into sudo apt update, which is it will fetch the latest package list from repositories, and also the outcome of the command. It will ensure the access to the newest version of packages and security updates. And after that, it should be that type sudo apt upgrade, but we refuse to do it because it will um, affect some space in the VirtualBox. So actually, after update, we need to upgrade the packages. So moving on to the next command sudo lineage audit system, which is it will run a security audit using lineage tools, and also the outcome it will generate a detailed report identifying security issues and suggesting improvements. So supposedly before hardening it will appear three errors um in the report. So after we do a hardening, should be it will appear only two errors where the first error is being being fixed. Right, so moving on to the next command, we will install audit D, which is audit D will enable tracking of user and system level activities for security analysis. After that, sudo systemctl enable audit D will be prompted to make sure that audit D is enabled to start automatically at boot. So the outcome it will persistent audit logging after reboots. Alright, so for the second vulnerability, which is open and unused ports, we use sudo ss-tulnp to make sure that it will display open TCP or UDP ports and the programs using them. So the outcome it will be identifies which services are listening or which ports for auditing and reduction of attack surface. So so after that, we need to identify the services that are no longer needed in this operating system. So we choose cards.service, which is by running command sudo systemctl stop cards.service, it will immediately close port 631 and reducing exposure to unnecessary services. After that, we will disable the service to make sure that it permanently disable the printing service unless it manually started from the user. After that, we will moving on to the other vulnerabilities, which is misconfigure UFW. So for the first step, we will prompt sudo UFW settable bus to display detailed firewall status and rules, and the output will show which connections are allowed or denied. After that, to harden the vulnerability, we prompt sudo UFW default deny incoming to deny all incoming traffic by default, and the outcome it will block unauthorized access unless explicitly allowed. Then sudo UFW default allow outgoing. It will allow all outgoing traffic and maintain the functionality for client initiated connections, which is updates and web access. So moving on to the next part, sudo UFW allow 22/TCP. It will allow incoming SSH connections on port 22 and it will enable remote administrative access to the server. Then sudo UFW allow 443-TCP. It will allow incoming HTTPS connections and it will also enable access to secure web services hosted on the system. Then the command sudo UFW enable to make sure that the firewall is active. And the following command, which is sudo firewall -md the remove port 631/TCP permanent. It will remove port 631, which is CAP service from the allowed list in the firewall D. Okay, so this is for the next vulnerability, which is unnecessary running services. So systemctl list units type service state running, which is it will list all currently running services, and it will help identify services that are not needed and can be disabled. Alright, so after listing the currently running services, should be that we can stop any service name and also disable, which is which services that are not needed, we will stop it using sudo systemctl stop, and also to disable service from starting and boot, we will use sudo systemctl disable. So the following command sudo, which is sudo ss-tuln, it will list all open ports without showing process names, and also there is another way to identify open network ports. So for the next step, it will this is the OS hardening for weak SSH configuration. So we will access to the SSH config file with command sudo nano etc sshd _config. So it will open the SSH server configuration file for editing, and as a user, we can allow modification of SSH settings for increased security. So inside the file, we will include permit root login no to prevent root login via SSH. So the outcome, it will be reduce the risk of brute force attacks on the root account. Port 2222, it will change SSH port from 22 to 2222, and also it will obscure SSH access and reduces exposure to automated scans. Password authentication no, it will disable password-based logins, which will enforce the use of SSH keys, increasing security. And lastly, permit empty passwords no, to disallow accounts with empty passwords. So we will save the configuration and exit from the sshd _config file. Sambung-sambung. So for the other step, to protect the brute force, we install fail2ban tool, which is with command sudo apt install fail2ban. So the tools itself will provide automatic banning of IPs that show malicious signs, which is there are too many login attempts from unauthorized user. So for the sudo cp etc fail2ban jail.config etc fail2ban jail.local, you will copy the default configuration file to a local editable version, and it will prepare a customizable configuration file that won't be overwritten on updates. So we will enable fail2ban tools on boot to make sure it will persistent protection against brute force attacks. and we will start fail to ban to make sure it begins monitoring logs and enforcing bans immediately.
Hi, so I'm going to continue to do the post-hardening part. So the first step is to perform the vulnerability scanning, which I will use the command sudo linux audit system, and then uh, it will run a full security audit to identify the missing patches, weak configurations, or outdated software. For the result, it will generate a hardening index score with security suggestion and warning. Next, is to review system logs for update errors. So the command that I will use is sudo less slash var slash vog slash app slash history.log. So the command will check what packages have been installed, updated, or failed to update. So the result will view of the update history and any errors that occur during package operations. So the next command that I will use is dpkg -i grep I security. So it will show to check for packages related to security updated that are currently installed. So the result will show a list of packages that containing the word security to identify what's installed. Next, for open and unused ports, uh, the first thing is will rescan open ports. So the command that I will use is sudo ssculn. So the command will list all active listening TCP slash UDP ports with no name resolutions. So the expected results will display ports numbers, protocol type, and listening IP address. Next step is to scan from external host, where I will use the command sudo nmap as the local host. So the purpose of the command is to scan open ports and detect service versions on the local machine. So the result will show open ports and associated software or any services. And then I will verify the firewall rules by entering the command sudo ufw status verbose. So it will display the current firewall rules status and also logging info. So the result will show the active and also inactive status with the rules listed in verbose format. Next, next step is to log monitoring for unauthorized access attempts. So the command that I will use is sudo journal ctl ufw sudo less slash var slash uh, log slash sys log, then sudo less slash var slash log slash out auth.log. So the purpose is to review firewalls log and system authentication logs for any suspicious activity. So the results will show the records of access attempts, block connections, or unauthorized login attempts. For the weak SSH configurations, the first step is to review SSH configuration files. First, I will use the command sudo nano slash etc slash ssh slash sshd slash config. So the command will modify SSH setting to harden access, such as disable root login, or change port. So the result will open the SSH config file and changes can be made and saved. So the next is to restart SSH service to apply changes. I will use the sudo systemctl restart SSHD. So the purpose will apply any updates to SSH settings. Will get result for silent restart and no output if successful. Next step is to monitor SS logs for anomalies, which I will use command sudo slash var slash log slash ath.log. So the purpose is to check for failed login attempts, brute force attacks, or unusual SSH activity. So the result will get the log entries showing login attempts and errors. For the misconfiguration UFW, the first thing we'll check UFW status and rules by using the command sudo UFW status verbose. So the command will verify which firewall rules are active and if UFW is enabled. So the result, the verbose listing of current rules and login status. The next step is to review detailed UFW rules by using the command sudo UFW show raw. The command will show the underlying IP tables rules that UFW manage, and then it will result raw IP tables rule listing for advanced troubleshooting. And then the next step is to reboot and reconfirm UFW setting by using the command sudo UFW status verbose. So it will ensure UFW auto starts with correct rules after a reboot. So the result will same rules appear as before reboot, confirming the persistence. And then I will enter the command of sudo UFW status number. The purpose is to find and remove overlapping or unused firewall rules so that it will show that the number list of rules and confirmation upon deletion. And then the next step is to ensure login is enabled by using command sudo UFW status verbose, sudo UFW login on. So the purpose is to confirm that login is active to monitor firewall events. So the result will log level confirm and message will now be recorded. And then the next step is to run Linux. So the command the purpose of the command is to re-audit the system with a focus on firewall related findings. So the result will show that the updated recommendations including firewall security gaps. For unnecessary running services, the first thing is to list all running services by using command sudo systemctl list unit. Okay, so the purpose is to identify which services are active, so unnecessary ones can be disabled. So the result shows that the list of all active services with the descriptions. The next step is to identify unnecessary services. The purpose is to review running services and determine what is not needed for system functions. And then the next command is sudo ssculn, which the purpose is to identify which service are bound to open ports. And the result will show the ports and corresponding IPs display. Next command is sudo linux audit system, which to highlight services that may be unnecessary or pose security risk. So the result shows that recommendation to disable unused services. And then the next step is to verify with netstat or ss. The command that I will use is sudo ss /uln and sudo netstat ulnp. So the both commands is to confirm active network connection and maps them to service PIDs. So the result will show the port number, protocol, and PID of the service. So I think that's all for me. Thank you.